Nathan Wiggin says, this is happening on several HDZero Freestyle V2 VTXs. In the goggles, I can only pick 25 or 200 milliwatts. Most recent unlock, VTX firmware, and VTX tables. Thank you for a $5 super chat, Nathan. I don't think you unlocked it, with all due respect. When you do the unlock procedure on the HDZero Freestyle V2, you have to flash the unlock firmware, then you have to unplug the programmer, because if the programmer is plugged in, the VTX won't power up. You unplug the programmer, you power up, and the blue LED goes blink, blink, blink. And at that point, it's unlocked. Then you unplug, you plug the programmer back in, and you reflash the standard firmware. And the first couple times I unlocked, like, it didn't work because I didn't realize you have to power up again after you flash the unlock firmware. I just flashed the unlock firmware, flashed the standard firmware back. It didn't work. I didn't realize you had to unplug the programmer, etc., etc., etc. So the exact procedure for unlocking has a couple little quirks in it, and I'm going to guess you just didn't actually unlock it. Yep, Edmonds FPV says, I didn't power up after flashing. Yep, that's it. And what'll happen is, when you power up, watch that blue LED, and it goes blink, blink, blink. And that means it's actually unlocked. So what's happening there is that the unlock firmware, what you would think it does is that you flash the unlock and it unlocks. But what it's actually doing is it's putting a firmware on the VTX that when you power up the VTX and the firmware runs, it unlocks the VTX. And so simply flashing that firmware doesn't actually perform the unlock.